Good morning. It's Monday morning, November 18, 2024, on the set of Inside Nigeria, your breakfast on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ugbebo. I hope you had a beautiful weekend. On this first segment of the show, we are looking at front headline stories of some select newspapers, including Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership, and its sister publication, National Economy, as well as other papers we have on our lineup. And as we normally do on the program, we'll flag up with Leadership. Let's see what Leadership is leading with this Monday. Election, CSOs seek improvement on disability inclusion. Election, CSOs seek improvement on disability inclusion. CSOs refer to civil society organizations seek improvement on disability inclusion. As Tinubu Buhari others hail Ayedatiwa's victory in Ondo. We are reviewing governorship outcome, PDP, results consistent with our PRVT findings, Yaga Africa. Of course, that should be a good one, considering the fact that Yaga Africa did not give a thumbs up to the one conducted in Edo State. It says results consistent with our PRVT findings, Yaga Africa, on the just concluded Ondo election, which took place this last weekend, Saturday, November 16, 2024. Tinubu off to Brazil for G20 Leaders Summit. The story runs on page 16 of Leadership. SNIADG Zakari Ibrahim dies at 81. Another paper says dies with a son same day. Ribadu leads delegation to Chad President Deby. Military pounds terrorists planning attack on troops. Of course, we have the picture of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi with national honor. He was decorated with national honor of Grand Commander of the Order of Niger, GCON, the second highest award in the land, during his state visit to Nigeria at the presidential villa Abuja yesterday. And towards the mindset of Leadership, federal government douses tension, says tax reform to ensure equitable VAT sharing. And on the business boss, Nachima petitions federal government over NIBC dash Indians operations. And above the mindset of Leadership, Mina Chief Imam dies at 93. Kebbi government denies illegal mining allegation. And of course, from there we move to the page 3, where we have our permanent page, our stand. Today's stand is on end vandalization of transmission towers. End vandalization of transmission towers. From page 3, which is our stand, we move to the back page where we have Monday column with Dakuku Side. Today's column is on trust and economic recovery. Trust and economic recovery. In quote, one of the primary barriers to economic recovery is the pervasive mistrust of government released statistics, policies, and economic management. Quote from that Monday column, Trust and Economic Recovery, with Dakuku Side. And with that, we conclude review of Leadership newspaper this Monday. For more, log on to the website of Leadership, www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we move over to Vanguard, talking about the just concluded Buba polls in Ondo State on Saturday, November 16, 2024. The headline story says, Ondo, how APC's Ayedatiwa floored PDP's Ajayi orders. APC candidates cost 366,781 votes, PDP 113,845. Governor-elect dedicates victory to late Akeredolu, extends olive branch to opponents, vows to run inclusive government. Election was daylight robbery, PDP ADC candidates. His worst poll ever, PDP. Our victories in Edo, Ondo, not a fluke, APC. Tinubu, Buhari, Sanwo-Olu, Oyebanji, Jibrin, others fed Ayedatiwa. Yaga Africa condemns vote buying. Police DIG laws conduct of poll. And beneath that, we have the poll, the statistics from the 18 local government captured as the results underneath that story. Excuse me. Inflation trend overruns federal government's target to cross 35% by year end. Inflation trend overruns federal government's target to cross 35% by year end. Discordant tunes through APC's World Congress in Rivers. We are relevant, Honua replies ASU. Tinubu departs Abuja for G20 Leaders Summit in Brazil. Nachima petitions federal government, alleges illegal operations of NIBC India in Nigeria. And in sports, Morocco 2025 Super Eagles go for victory against Amavubi. About the masthead of Vanguard, Sokoto farmers to federal government intensify efforts to flush out Lakurawa terrorists. Nigeria, India to boost economic defense, health, food security ties. Court stops NBC from imposing fine sanctions on broadcast sanctions. The story runs on page 10 of Vanguard newspaper. Court stops NBC from imposing fine sanctions on broadcast stations. With that, we conclude front headline stories today on Vanguard. For more, log on to the website of Vanguard newspaper. Even as we move ahead to the next paper we have on our lineup, and that is the Punch. The Punch also has similar story on the just concluded Ondo Guba polls. It says Ayedatiwa's victory. INEC PDP disagree over alleged fraud in Ondo poll. Ayedatiwa's victory. INEC PDP disagree over alleged fraud in Ondo poll. Opposition says election was in history. INEC APC defend results. Tinubu governors hail Ayedatiwa. And just like Vanguard, you also have the Ondo poll results from the 18 local government was captured just beneath that headline story. We also have the picture of Tinubu and the Indian Prime Minister on the cover of the Punch. Tinubu, Indian Prime Minister signed agreements on defense economy. Underneath that, Zamfara APC protests as Lawal swears in local government chairman. NDLEA intercepts Euro-bound drug barons. Mpox vaccination begins in 7 states today. And beside the masthead of the Punch, we have top doctor strike threatens operations in 83 federal hospitals. Top doctor strike threatens operations in 83 federal hospitals. Above the masthead of the Punch, Dangote IPMA signed 240 million litres monthly petrol deal. Minimum wage, federal government to spend 6.5 trillion naira, says MTEF. Governors threatening reps over Tinubu VAT bill, spokesman. And also we bring to an end the front headline stories review on the Punch today. For more, log on to the website of the Punch newspaper, even as we move ahead to the Guardian. The Guardian says leveraging shared history. Nigeria, India to expand $7.9 billion trade ties. The story runs on page 6 of the Guardian. Leveraging shared history. Nigeria, India to expand $7.9 billion trade ties. We also have the picture of President Bola Tinubu with the Indian Prime Minister of Narendra Modi when he visited yesterday. Court stops NBC from imposing fines threatening broadcast stations. How double-digit interest rates scuttled local vehicle acquisition. We have Ondo poll. Ayedatiwa retains seat as Tinubu tells PDP others go to court in court. Ondo poll. Ayedatiwa retains seat as Tinubu tells PDP others go to court. We have also the marks, the allotted votes for the election underneath each candidate. We have Lucky Ayedatiwa. The incumbent governor was also elected with 366,781 votes. Agola Ajayi of PDP got 117,000 votes, 845. Labour Party 1,162 votes. Zenith Labour Party Abbas Mimiko 2,692 votes. And we have ADC Mison Neje 4,138 votes. COP29, Nigeria advocates collaboratory approach to decarbonization. Youth spending, supply disruption to push inflation up 34.45% this month. How double-digit interest rates scuttled local vehicle acquisition. House meets Tinubu's team on tax reform bills. Islamic scholars decry rising sexual gender violence in North. Last week, CMD 6 review of abortion laws. 2025 budget, experts divided over 1,400 naira per dollar exchange rate orders. That also brings to a close the review of front headline stories on The Guardian this Monday, November 18, 2024. For more, log on to the website of The Guardian. Even as we move to the last paper on our menu on this first segment of the show, that is our sister publication, National Economy. National Economy is a weekly business paper on the stable of Leadership Media Group. And this week's headline story says, Fuel Subsidy Removal, Good Policy, Wrong Approach, NE Board of Economists. Fuel Subsidy Removal, Good Policy, Wrong Approach, National Economy Board of Economists. Symbiosis of migration, Nigeria's role in global exchange. Above the masthead of national economy, Nigeria's domestic debt stock rises to 66.957 trillion naira in first half 2024. Nigeria's domestic debt stock rises to 66.957 trillion naira in first half of 2024. NCAA bans pilots from working for multiple airlines. That concludes review of this week's National Economy newspaper. However, for on the spot and breaking business news, you can log on to the website of National Economy on www.nationaleconomy.com. With that, also, we've come to the end of the first segment of this show, Inside Nigeria. The second half of the program is coming in shortly with our Monday guest. Don't go away, stay tuned. Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, the program is Inside Nigeria, breakfast from Leadership Television, where we discuss front headline stories and other topical issues in the country and beyond. My name is Winifred Igwebo once again, and of course in the studio I have my modern guest, as PhD in political economics and public affairs analyst, Aliu Elias. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we on Saturday, November 16th, was a Ondo State Guba election. Of course, the winner has since emerged. The incumbent Ayedatiwa was lucky. Ayedatiwa was declared the winner of that poll. But other political parties do not seem to agree with that announcement of the judgment. It's a call that even former president, head of state and president Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, has called for sack of INEC chairman and officials.
Well, I think well, it's a good call because there's need for us to keep on making ourselves to perform very, very well. I wouldn't say the call is for because of the election.
Yes.
I think it's a accumulation of
yes.
Different scenarios that have been happening. So I think well, that's another thing. I don't know if he's going to be the one by 2027. I don't know if
no, I don't think so. No, tenure ends next year.
Next year, so there is opportunity for him to actually go. But we shouldn't look
I don't even know whether he will
like
stay for the off-cycle one coming
right.
up in Anambra.
And that's why institutions should not be about one person. You have to keep building an institution, not individual.
Yes.
So when he goes, maybe he sack or he leaves, we must see the improvement that he has brought to bear in that organization. I think that's very, very important. Then
how can we have a vibrant INEC that is devoid of partisanship and insulated from corrupt tendencies? And
well, first of all, I think INEC should be unbundled. That's what I think. That whereby the logistics part will be separated from the administrative part of it. I think that's major thing because he handling everything. Sometimes it's cumbersome. It's not easy. But if he is only looking at the election for that day proper, another agency is looking at the logistics, I think we'll have
but somebody also drew a leadership analyst drew a comparison between the off-cycle election that was conducted in Edo State in 2020 and compared to the one that was compared. You know, then they just did online transmission of results to the IREV, and you know it was what you saw that was actually
I think
unlike what was conducted
what
in
was
September.
that there are some things that constitution has not captured. Right, so it's not constitutional for them to make sure they transmit. You get, but the IRF is constitutional. So I think we need to review, go back to National Assembly and say no. Now, as the election is going, we want to be seeing it in our dashboard, so that we'll see that yes, this is the ideal thing. And another thing I even canvassed for, because I monitored the last election, presidential election. I said, why don't we have some political party members at the back end too? So as the thing is dropping at that your own back end that you are seeing, we are also seeing it. It may not be everybody, but we are also seeing it. I think it's very, very important. But in the case of the Lucky, I think sometimes names, just like Jonathan, used to work for people. You need to know the meaning of Ayedatiwa. Simply means this word belongs to us now. Now, they ask only me son. My head has given me the way. You know, there's a way that
his names is actually speaking for him.
Yes, actually speaking, because if you look at the circumstances, you remember that this PDP man also was a deputy governor too, or something just push him out of the way, right? Before he now, even when he came around, remember when the man was also sick,
he was about to remove him.
Yes, he was having serious issue, but as God will have it. Then I want to score Yaga for scoring them.
Yes, I actually said that.
We must not see Yaga.
Yaga is actually actually commenting.
We must not see Yaga.
Results consistent with our PRVT findings. Like Yaga Africa.
Yes,
that was not their submission when it came to Edo Guba.
Exactly what I'm saying.
They insisted up to now that the
election result
was fraught with irregularity.
Right, that's what I'm saying now. It's good that we are seeing them against support, against not constantly against. So that even government will not see them as a tool in the hand of the opposition. So I think it's a good one. So I'll talk up to Yaga. But for me, even when you look at the gap between the election, you know, PDP said they are still reviewing. I don't know what they are still reviewing. If you see the gap, you see that it's a very huge gap.
366
compared to 1. You know, it's
just it's not even up to half.
It's not even up to half. So, and also, I doubt if PDP will still not continue to lose because your leadership is having problem. So it becomes a serious issue. Some governors might opt to come and support their own. Some will now say no, you are not part of the team. They are not going to come. So these are the challenges that I think they are having. They must make sure that it is getting late for them already.
But in view of the changing times and the global world that we are living, don't you think that there's something that ought to be done in the Electoral Act?
Yes.
You understand? Amended. And we've not really seen much of it. What is happening presently?
For me, I'm of the opinion that in as long as some of us have a national identity card, you can start voting via email. You know, there's a way you vote without your card. So your code, you know, is unique according to them. Your national NIN, we can be in our home and vote even before the week of the election.
Yeah,
Because I can show you 70% of voters would have voted to that plan, and to even reduce rigging, reduce logistics, reduce pressure, it will be a very good deal. I think it is time that we should do that. Actually, majority of Nigerians now have a smart phone that they can do it at the comfort of their home.
Okay. Now, still on the Electoral Act and the conduct of election in the country, we still not, at the end of the day, the leadership bemoaned that they don't have powers conferred on them, because we still see that the Adamawa,
the rec,
is still at large.
Harry. Sahariwa, yes. I want to call on CSO too. You don't leave everything for government. So imagine if CSO and media houses continue to ask questions about this man, because if you don't bring people to justice, it will empower others. Perhaps maybe because it's APC, maybe that's why we are not seeing much, and that's a sad one. And I also think INEC should take the lead, in prosecuting such offender. It's a serious offense that if you don't do anything, it's quite dangerous.
All right. Thank you so much. Nothing much leading today, but I just want us to talk about the national economy. The headline story today says, "Fuel subsidy removal, good policy, wrong approach." This is the stand of the National Economy Board of Economists, and I'll take some snippets from that story. It said Nigeria's decision to remove fuel subsidies has ignited intense discussions nationwide, with economic analysts, political leaders, and everyday citizens debating its consequences. While many agree that eliminating fuel subsidies was a sound policy choice aimed at freeing up government resources for other pressing needs, critics argue that the policy's implementation strategy has left much to be desired. The result, according to experts, is a policy that had the potential for economic liberation, but has instead brought increased hardship to Nigerians, highlighting a disconnect between policy intent and execution. So this is from
board.
Yes, National Economics
Well, I
Board.
think I've glanced through it. The thing is this: it is clear that's a good policy but wrong approach. And what does the wrong approach start? Start from the day of the declaration. You recall before President Muhammadu Buhari left, he had some plans on ground. And the first plan was that our refinery will come on board. It is now 1 year, 8 months of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
And we don't have that
refinery. In fact, we have even Nigerians have keep their mind away from it now. Before we keep on expecting, now we are not even expecting. So anything that, because that's the major thing that would have
been in place first. Exactly.
Before Dangote comes, that would have even been. So it will bring a competition. Secondly, there is that CNG that is going to be everywhere. It is still a fluke to me. Even though some of us have tried to convert, we still, as I am now, I have one bar, and most NNPC that we have does not have pressure. So I'm still thinking, will I drive down to Gosa again, because that's the usual place, which is not NNPC's NIPCO. I have to go there to buy. So it should have been brick and mortar where you can go every corner that you can buy. You have not, and the cost of conversion is also a very serious one. 900,000, 751.5 million. How can we actually get to that place? So they've not done the right thing at all. In terms of the economic relief, how well have we got the relief from Nigerian government? How far with MSME? How far with manufacturing sector? It is serious. So for me, I think this government is just out to make the money. They are not out to actually do the work. Perhaps they don't have good handler of the economy, because I'm beginning to assume that the combination of the CBN governor, the minister, the FIRS, all of them are just looking at how to just harness money for the government, not looking at citizen as it were.
So, but what is the way forward? Because President Bola Tinubu has consistently told Nigerians that he is not going to revert some of these policies.
It's clear that he's not ready to
biting hard
to
on Nigerians, and we are having a situation whereby Nigerians have continued to pay more.
You know why? Do you know the worst thing that it will happen? What actually bring the issues was the floating of naira.
Yes.
So if you have removed the first subsidy, then people have access to to dollar. We can, but you remove the even you the president, the benefit of even first subsidy, you are not enjoying it up to 10% because it has been eroded.
It has been eroded.
By now, you're supposed to have a good money available to you. But when you convert the money, okay, let's go to Nigerian budget. This budget proposal is 47.9 trillion, but while last year was 28 trillion. If you convert 47.9 to dollar, it will give you 28 billion dollars. If you now convert last year own, which is 28 trillion, convert it to dollar, it will give you 35. So this year own is 28, last year is 35. That means even your budget is too small. I was thinking it will come up like 100 trillion.
But no, the federal government is budgeting on the premise of 1,400 naira per dollar. But you know that even presently that is not the case.
Even, no, from
official rate is not more than 1,000.
It doesn't matter. Sometimes you know it's a budget and it's a proposal.
So maybe they are thinking deficit as it were.
Of course, we are in deficit 100%. Can Nigeria do budget that is not deficit for the next 10 years? There's nothing we can do. For me, our budget is even too small. To move Nigeria to from where we are now, we need at least 100 trillion budget. Because imagine now our capital budget is about 7, while debt services is about 8 trillion. Is that not a contradiction?
Yes.
Remember, it's capital budget that all of us will benefit from. Road, health, education. But now we are saying now the debt servicing is much more, and that doesn't deter them from also go cap in hand borrowing. And with all these things, so we would have a better budget now. I think they did not float the naira. Would have because imagine that means for the past 5 years, this budget is the smallest. It's the smallest compared to dollar. Just 28 trillion, and last year 35 trillion. I don't know how the under is even thinking about it. I was thinking they would do at least 70 to 80 trillion, but I wouldn't know. Maybe National Assembly will have to look into it, because how can we have budget less than last year? How can we also have capital expenditure less than debt services? So what benefits all Nigerians is only 7 trillion. Because the recurrence is for salary and it's for them. It's not for general public. It's a serious issue.
Wow, really, really, really serious issue. And many people, experts are also of the opinion that this period that we had food hike going down is because of the season that we're in, and now that Nigeria is moving away from rainfall,
it's going to. We are going back.
So what are we going to see?
Well, let's wait for NBS another report. I think they will trust that. It's government agency. They will trust that more. There is no way we can compare. Recall President Muhammad Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a July last year declared state of emergency on food security. Please, have you seen any result of it?
No,
food still continue to high. I was looking at him when he was declaring it. I was thinking, this president has forgotten that the land belongs to state. So you can't just come up and say there should be social farming. You have to engage the state. The state now have to engage the local government. Don't have to, because land belongs to them. So I don't think government is doing well. Even the Ministry of Agriculture now we don't have livestock.
And we even told that even government reserves when Tinubu was saying they should release grain.
Where is the reserve?
That they don't even have.
Where is the
and
reserve?
The reserve that was reported.
So it's a funny thing that we are not looking at this economy. And the majority of what is taking our money is just to food and transport. And
meanwhile, there was a report that about 132 million Nigerians are going to be in hunger.
It's clear consistently, consistently, because and perhaps how well are we doing to farm? We must also credit Muhammad Buhari. He focused on rice, and he was doing more on rice. At a particular time, we are sufficient. Even now, it can be expensive. It can be expensive, but it's available. That is a two different thing. People are now making money from that. Farmers now know that if you farm rice, you can easily get he also should focus on something, and let's see what because for now it's just being reactive, not proactive to solve a particular problem.
All right, thank you so much. And still on this food issue, we have Sokoto farmers in Sokoto State crying out for the federal government to root out Lakurawa deadly sex. That with that now, with them, their presence, they won't be able to do farming, and that alone also is going to impact on food security.
And remember, that state is one of the states that produces more in terms of farm produce because their major business is farm produce. But now, is it Lukarawa or Lapurawa? His name is even
Lapurawa.
So they are now having serious issue. You know, they have to pay some money before they can access some place. Because I did a research in that northwest. You know, there's some local government that you can't go with smartphone. They will not allow. There's some environment, not local government per se. There's some environment you can also not go with phone at all because of the condition they give you. I think these are the people that actually because they will tell you these are how you are going to live your life in this environment, and if you go against them, and that's why we have seen mayhem in Zamfara, Kebbi, and Sokoto. It is these people, and they have been looking, and we must also come to terms with community too. You know, in northern community, people just come from any other place and come and dwell there. If you go to southwest, southeast, even anything south, you cannot come. You cannot come to our environment. They will say, "Who are you?"
But what about the failure of our intelligence gathering?
I think that's another problem. I wonder why we will not have intelligence 774 local government that are active. That somebody comes in, you know, and before we used to see people that even pretend to be madman, shoemaker. Before you know, they'll get their information.
They infiltrate the schools. They'll be there.
But it will be difficult in the north too because you know the porosity of that environment, whereby everybody just come and claim they are from so particular places. In fact, those Lukarawas, most of them cannot even speak Hausa, and you allow them in your environment. On what ground will you allow such people to dwell and rest, spend more years, and start doing what is bad in your environment? It's appalling. And those our traditional ruler also need to be called to action because traditional ruler. Every community have their traditional ruler, and you have to report to another magaji, another head. What happens? It's breakdown from them. I think they should also be called to question.
Order. All right, thank you so much. From that, we move over to these tax reform bill, still before the National House of Assembly. National House of Representatives, and that's the report on some of the papers today on their cover. Say governors threatening reps over Tinubu VAT. And we have in the Guardian too, has made Tinubu stand on tax reform bills and also in leadership. So what is happening in that bill? Because from the look of things, President Tinubu said he was not going to withdraw those bills. And from the story carried in the Punch newspaper, he said the deputy spokesman for the House of Representatives, Mr. Philip Agbese, has disclosed that some state governors are threatening to deny federal lawmakers return tickets in the 2027 general elections if they do not withdraw their support for President Bola Tinubu's tax reform bills now before the National Assembly for consideration. Now, I want to find out from you because this was something that we were seeing so various reports coming out from that. What this state government should set up tax reform committee to actually look at those bills and see how, if it favors them per se, or if it's what the allegation by the Northern Elders Forum alleges, so that they know their stand. But it's beyond the just threatening your people. Don't support the bill, don't support the bill. Have they made it obvious to these their lawmakers that what the bill actually contains?
Right.
Because we have it that most lawmakers, they just append, they just say yes to bills without knowing the import of such bills.
Right. I think first and foremost, my personal view is that we have 4 bills, and one is the one that is having issue. So the governors must also understand that as well. So the one that is having issue, it's an easy thing. We are going to have public hearing that people like us can even feature there. Package, like you said,
that's a good one.
Educate your team. You understand? So when you educate your team, when they get there, they will now argue that okay, because of consumption, but because of consumption tax, because of the VAT, these are our reasons why we are negating. Governments are taking it more political, you know, than even the economic part of it. I can tell you, this bill is with good intention. The only error now is that, you know, we are considering people that are going to be shortchanged because of a particular one. So that particular, and for me, Tinubu have pushed it forward. We are all aware that the man he brought, Ayodele, is man that is very, very sound about it. So let's wait. I support Tinubu at this point in time. Let's go to the National Assembly and debate on how it is. Let us see how skillful our National Assembly are, because by now their SLA, their LA must have been doing research and tell them, Oga, this is good, Oga, this is actually. But for governors, you know, governors are becoming united because of this bill.
Okay.
They want to use it to actually enter into the president. You know why? This president seems to have his own what he wants to do, and is adamant about it. They wonder what to tell him that Oga President, we also have our own. We can use our people to actually negate what you want to do, because I expect him to actually carry them along enough. You know, like this Ayodele should have go and have a presentation with the governors, you know, get their acceptances at a particular stage.
But however, in the Guardian's report, they said that Northern Coalition threatens protest against bids, and they still insist that it's termed anti-North bids. But is it just anti-North or anti? I thought it also involves
governors. It's other governors.
So why are they taking it?
Well, sometimes I want to see media from, you know, taking some issue beyond some extent, because I've seen Northern House of Rep coming on TV. Jubril, former fiscal man, you know, that is in ANPP now.
Yes.
He was interviewed and he said he all represents support of the bill.
Wow.
Yes, that when he was in appropriation before. So that was why what they have been canvassing for the past 12 years.
Wow.
That what happened was that people are not studying. In fact, he told the Northern governors on TV that most of them doesn't understand the concept. You can check the clip. He said most of them does not understand the concept of the bill. They don't say he's against not. He's not.
But what about that of the derivative that derivative and consumption?
Have they brought alternative?
Okay.
It's as simple as that. Okay, we the Northern governors now said this one that you said there is consumption that is going to be 20%, increase it to 85% or 80% for the finish. Bring your alternative. I'm sure President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is also waiting for that, for the alternative.
Exactly, because he said was not going to withdraw.
So all governors should
whatever amendment can be done in the Senate.
No, I agree with the amendment. You know why? Most of those tax we are using are 1963 tax, work. It has to be reformed at this point in time, because we need to collect money in the digital manner. But if it's not captured in the constitution, in the bill, you may have. So they have to repeal a lot of bill to bring another one in. So for me, I support the tax, but that area, and I don't want to agree that it's not an issue. You understand? Because governor of Oyo State
now are also agitating
Enugu is going to be affected. So what are you saying? So that's why governors should come. But for me, I think there are more political issue beyond what we are saying, because government want to prove to Tinubu that you cannot just come and be doing whatever you like. Remember Amechi and Co, the way they did with Jonathan. You know, that's a fact that we must also look at. So that scenario is coming to play.
And you know, you have the spokesman, the deputy spokesman, for the House of Representatives, Mr. Philip Agbese, also insisting that there's no going back on those bids that he is supporting, and it's from Benue State.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And Benue is also part of the North.
That's why I said most people don't understand the concept of. I try to look at the bill critically. The only one I saw that had issue is that one. You understand? That's looking at consumption tax. You understand? So consumption tax was 20%. But I think.
But consumption tax now is not all about maybe the citing. For instance, like you explained it in earlier program, that maybe you have a bank headquarter here and all those.
That is the consumption tax.
That is the consumption tax.
You know why? You may be producing in Obajana, but we are building house in Sokoto.
Exactly.
So are you saying that people in Sokoto will not want to collect something that they will use to fix their road that the trailer is going to?
In other words, people in Sokoto should also
be also benefit. That's not what we are saying. That is not going to be only Kogi that Obajana is located. No, if you are bringing it, we can. What is even tax? Remember, it's only you can be tickets. You know, any trailer that come, give him a ticket. You collect 1,000. That's what we are just saying now. Government want to stop all of such things. That they will only be collecting it directly. They will not be returning some high percentage to the company, the state itself. We are now saying no. We will also give them our own tickets in our own environment, so that we can have internal income generation. That's the argument.
Okay.
That is that. So you now come to government and say, President, we are looking at it from different perspective. We want to collect our 100%. You know, that's an argument. Government say no, don't collect. No, we want to collect 100% because it's our environment. It's possible now. How many people are using Dangote cement in Kogi? It is being used outside
within the country.
That is the argument, which is a valid argument. So, and those people that propose it, they are not even adamant. They are also telling you bring your alternative. Do you get?
Yes.
So and Nigeria is so peculiar. You cannot go to Ghana and bring Ghana home to apply. It doesn't work. And I listened to FIRS people too also. They said they are still open to argument. Bring it now. That is the thing. So, but President Tinubu should also call them,
No,
engage them.
because prior to this time around, there were also reports that FIOC was actually collecting so much money in its effort to collect VAT on behalf of the country. But
The
something has been
the
done.
major argument was
So
that
with this
no, there was
uniformity-
argument from agencies. That's what good. They are the one that actually make it serious. That now it will not be federal revenue. There's a need service.
Also, yes.
So now they are scared that all the money that NPA is collecting, this is collecting, it might not be only FRS that we. So those agencies also have said no.
Because they said that these collecting bodies were taking so much for their.
That's why I said they are not saying no. Don't let them be doing all our response. But FRS have also come out and said no, we are not closing any agency from collecting their own revenue. It's only our own revenue that we want to deal with. So that's that contradiction, which is good sometimes. When you bring a proposal, it's new, people have to doubt it, they have to you have to do more. But I expect President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to call them in a round table. What is your argument? To get it directly, that is not another issue. If it's this tax, let's discuss it. So that's it. But governors are waiting to actually show me, and they are threatening their House of Rep. They know that if you don't do what we say you should do, and that's the tools in the hand of governors, and they can do it.
You not get ticket.
They can do it because if they are still the president,
if the election process is to be streamlined and fair,
it's not possible.
Exactly,
you can even go to another party.
Exactly.
Unless is not from another party.
Yes.
You see, imagine but we are not exposed to that extent that we are still looking at the people. We are not looking at the institution itself.
Right. Thank you so much. Now, just before we go, it seems that the imbroglio between Dangote and independent marketers seem to have been settled, because the story today on the Punch says Dangote IPMA signed 240 million liters monthly petrol deal.
It's now win-win.
Okay.
When
but did Dangote agree to reduce costs?
I can bet you
because
that
they
is the
said
major.
it was insisted
That's why it's not disclosed.
It's not going to budge.
Have you noticed that it's not disclosed? Have you noticed that it's not disclosed? Why it's not disclosed? That it must have reduced, because that's the argument of this. That once we import, its landing cost is much more cheaper. So it must have reduced and also give them how do I call it, a kind of concession. Maybe you can buy today, you pay next month. Buy it. It must have given those codes.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying here.
Right.
Prices drop.
It must. That's the I told you when I came here.
Confirmed that the pump price of petrol have started reducing in many parts.
Yes, no.
Due to the competition that the regulation of the downstream sector has
caused. That's just the essence. There must be reduction in price.
Right,
and that's what we agitate. So we want them to continue to fight.
Yes.
They should not settle.
They should not settle.
They should not settle.
That's why there's settlement now.
They
just continue to suffer.
Put us in the pocket.
All right. So on this note, viewers, we've come to the end of today's Inside Nigeria, your professional leadership television. It's always a pleasure to have with me in the studio, PhD in political economics and a public analyst, Ali Elias. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you for having me.
So until we come your way again, same time, same station, for another fresh edition of the program. My name is Unifred Gabo. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.